The Dr. Dulumoni Goswami, and his time is given, 15 per day. So how many times? 25 minutes. So can we manage it within this? Who is the organizer around here? Maybe 20 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes, because we can defer lunch by 5-6 minutes. So 20 minutes is a good one. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay, okay. That's why I'm looking for the organizer. So what is the organizer?
Honorable Chairperson of this technical session, Professor Natsar, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon to everybody. So, first of all, I'd like to thank.
I was sorry.
Yes, sir.
I have to introduce yourself. Yeah, I have to say something about him. Sorry about that. I will talk about your identification, but you are so. I'm sorry for that.
Okay.
Dr. Dulumoni Goswami is an associate professor at Gauhati University. He has done his MA and PhD from Gauhati. He has started his teaching career in 1994 from North Cambridge College, Paramat College, Naugam College, respectively. Later, he joined Gauhati University in January 2005. His area of teaching are economics of education, educational management, issues and education, and teaching technology. His research areas are higher education, teaching, educational management, and teaching. Oh, they repeated twice. Okay. Yeah. So, following are the books that he has authored: Literacy and Development with Special Reference to Northeast India, Higher Education in India, Growth and Expansion Issues, Philosophy of Education, Education in Northeast India, Contemporary Issues on Education. Moreover, he has 35 publications in various journals. So we can see his talk is very vibrant. I understand. Because of his publication, I understand. So, Dr. Dulumoni.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for introducing. So first of all, I would like to thank IFNE and also IITG for organizing such an event on a very important pertaining issues like draft national education policy, and also I'd like to thankful to them for inviting me to interact with the learned gathering like you here. So issues is the really very critical issue. Actually, we are in a very critical position that we want to make a revolutionary change in our education system in a short period of time. It directed me to focus on draft national education policy and liberal arts education more particularly. So as all of you are aware that draft national education policy, which has been submitted to the Ministry of Human Resource Development recently, is a very comprehensive report. The report, which contains 477 pages, there is 4 chapters, and it is a so comprehensive report that there is no any area, you will find hardly any area in the education system which has not been covered by this draft education policy, which has not been discussed by the draft education policy. So the importance of national policy is known to every one of us. I will not repeat all these things. But so far liberal arts education is concerned, the draft national education policy, as you know, it has suggested for the structural change of education at all levels from primary to higher education. It has suggested, more particularly, it has suggested for a liberal approach to education. So there is a lot of confusion among the stakeholders. So liberal education, what it actually means, liberal education, will it be successful in imparting the liberal education in our higher education system or even in our school education system? So actually what it means, why liberal education? As we know that India, we have a rich educational heritage, we have rich educational cultural heritage in our country. We have a liberal approach in education in our ancient time also. If you remember the contribution of the great Indian universities, Nalanda, Taxila, all these universities have imparted liberal approach to education. And during that time, we had a rich heritage of education. But unfortunately, this rich heritage of education will gradually collapse in the medieval period. And when the foreign rulers, British, started ruling in our country, during that time, we have an indigenous system of education, and the condition of that system of education is very deplorable, very miserable system. So consequently, the British government, they have started a new education in our country, which we consider as modern education system. But even till today, we are following the same system which was introduced by British government during that time. Even so far, our affiliating system of our colleges and universities is concerned, which was introduced by British government long back. According to the Wood's Educational Dispatch, 3 universities in India were established at Calcutta, Madras and Bombay. In subsequent periods, so many universities were established, of course, and all were affiliating universities or affiliating colleges. And but this affiliating system already have been discarded by British long back. But the same system we are still retaining. Still we have this affiliating system. And I think this affiliating system of education, higher education, is one of the sin for India, which needs radical changes. No one will deny this fact. But how this change will occur, how this type of change will have to be brought, these are the very pertinent questions in front of us. So our liberal education, why we need a liberal education and what it indicates when we talk about the liberal approach to education. So liberal education is an approach of learning that empowers the individuals and prepares them to deal with complexity, diversity and change. Now the big question in front of us is that, are our graduate and undergraduate students are ready to deal with this complexity of the world, this diversity and change in the world? We have lot of changes taking place all over the world during the last few decades that we have been observing. We have lot of diversity all over the world, we have lot of complexity all over the world. But how far our undergraduate students and graduate students are ready to face this type of challenges, this type of diversity, this type of complexity? So it is found that the British government, what education system they had introduced, it was in the watertight compartment. And still our higher education system is confined in a watertight compartment. It is therefore we have the notion that those students who are in technology, they don't require to understand about humanity. Those who are in science, they don't require to understand about language and other subject, cultural subject, humanity subjects. So this type of notions are of course prevailing in our education system with an exception. So now it is the time to change this notion, it is the time to change this system. We need to provide a liberal system of education, liberal approach to education, so that our students will be able to face any kind of situation in the world. So the solution is only liberal education. Today, if you see, I think among us, we have so many teachers, we have so many educational administrators, principals from our colleges also. So how we are preparing our students today? So our students are there ready to appear examination with reading books and etc. only. So most of the students are running after only mark and scores, ignoring the other aspects of their education. But education does not mean only acquiring the scores, getting more scores. What Mahatma Gandhi said, according to Mahatma Gandhi, by education I mean all round drawing at the base of the child, his body, mind and spirit. Here the question of liberal education comes. When Swami Vivekananda said education should aim at man-making, what is that man-making education? A man, he must understand he must be able to develop his intellectuality, he must have the emotional development, he must have the physical development, he must have the spiritual development, for which he need the intellectual subject along with the physical subjects, also different sports, cultural activities as well as spiritual activities which will make a man actually man. That is what Swamiji said about man-making education. Mahatma Gandhi said about the all-round development of the child or individual. And many of the educationists, even in the modern time, has advocated education. The main concept of education is a harmonious development of the individual. But the question is that, is our undergraduate system, is our higher education system is able to develop this harmonious development of the individual? That is the big question in front of us. But what the practical experiences shown that our education system in India has totally failed to cultivate such type of values and such type of abilities in our people, in our children. So it is therefore our students are not ready to face the challenges of the world today. As such, the draft national education policy, which was headed by eminent scientists and educationists K. Kastrirangam, which is an 11-member committee, has suggested to provide a liberal arts education. And according to their suggestion, all the higher education system within a short period of time should move towards liberal approach to education. So they have this committee has given some examples also. Even in our ancient time, they have given example of 2000 years back, the Kadambari, the ancient novel Kadambari, Banbhatta's Kadambari, where it was mentioned about 64 kalas or 64 arts. We call it Sukosti Kala, 64 arts. So a real individual is that who acquire all these 64 arts. These 64 arts include many things: music, dance, carpentry, even cooking, dressing, everything. Many types of arts and arts or kalas are included in 64 arts. So in ancient time, a person was considered to be the full person, actual person who acquire all these 64 kalas or 64 arts. So now draft national education policy has given example of these 64 arts and also has suggested this type of kalas are to be introduced. It may not be the 64 arts, it may not be possible to provide all the 64 arts in one institution, but taking the example of this ancient heritage, educational heritage, our present undergraduate education needs to be changed, providing multidisciplinary aspects, giving all kinds of arts, science, mathematics, everything. So the liberal arts education has so beautifully described it and prescribed it in India's past that enables one to truly develop both sides of brain, both creative side and also analytical side. So we have our brain has a different sides. One is creative side, one is analytical side. Both the sides are to be developed if we provide liberal arts or liberal education. But unfortunately, our present education system is providing the ability of analysis but not the creativity. So that is the actual weak point of our education system. So therefore, the draft National Education Committee has suggested that our undergraduate education system to be transformed to liberal education, for which what are the strategies they have suggested, that all the institutions, all the colleges and universities must be multidisciplinary in nature. There must not be any standalone institution. Unfortunately, in India at present, more than 40% of the colleges or institutions are standalone institutions. In our state, Assam, we have more than 50% of the colleges which are standalone colleges. So these standalone colleges are confined to a particular discipline only, which is not adequate for the overall or all-round development of the students or individual. So therefore, it is suggested that all the colleges must move towards multidisciplinary nature. This multidisciplinary means it will include the knowledge of science, mathematics, different languages, arts and humanities, along with fine arts, music, dance, and also some other skills. like cooking, carpentry, dressing, everything must be included. And in the liberal arts education, there is a question of flexibility. The students will have better choice of their subjects. Even the committee, this committee has suggested the universities, those who are existing multidisciplinary universities, these multidisciplinary universities are also confined to some watertight compartment. So therefore, those science students, they are totally separated from other aspects of their education, not from arts. The art students are totally different, technology students are totally different. So the committee has suggested there should be some coordination, some cooperation, and some collaborative work among all the disciplines of universities. So through liberal arts and education, they are giving more importance on multidisciplinary and collaborative work. Then the establishment and strengthening of the department needed for multidisciplinary and cross-disciplinary. Many of the universities and colleges, it is found that they don't have certain kinds of department. Even many universities till now don't have the Department of Fine Arts, the Department of Music, Department of Sports. So the committee has suggested that all the universities must establish the department of such type of arts and humanities as well as fine arts department, so that it will be helpful for the all-round development of the individual. It is necessary that students from technology background may have the knowledge of culture, may have the knowledge of sports, may have the knowledge of some other things which will be very much important for the development, all-round development of his life. So this liberal education will be also accompanied by rigorous specialization. The committee has suggested, although liberal education to be introduced in the colleges, but still there will be some specialization. The students will choose a particular subject as one or two as special subject, apart from which he will have different subjects. Now, as per the suggestion of the committee, there will be no hard separation of arts and science from the school education onwards. Even in secondary education, there will be no difference between arts and science. Even there will be no difference among the extracurricular, co-curricular and curricular activities. All will be the same. But in our present education system, in our universities, colleges, even in the school system also, we find there is extracurricular activities are totally different from the curricular activities. These are not considered under curricular activities. Even in our university, we have the provision like extracurricular seats or etc. But at present, as per the suggestion of this committee, there should not be any separation among the extracurricular and curricular activities. All will be curricular activities. There will be no question of extracurricular activities. So this is one of the strategy for introducing the liberal arts education. Then for introducing the liberal education, the committee has suggested that undergraduate education, bachelor degree education will be of 4 years liberal education, which will be termed as BL or Bachelor of Liberal Arts or Bachelor of Liberal Education. It will be of 4 years course. But along with this 4-year course, the 3 years Bachelor of Arts or Science will also be continued, but the colleges will have the option to choose anything. But in the 4 years Bachelor of Liberal Arts, more emphasis will be given on multidisciplination, and this will also continue in the 3 years bachelor degree too. And after completing these 4 years, after completing of these 4 years Bachelor of Liberal Arts or Liberal Education, the students will be able to directly enter in the research program, PhD program. So at present, one has to complete Master of Arts or Master of Science or Master of Commerce or Master of Engineering to complete, to enroll in the PhD. But now, any students who completes the 4 years Bachelor of Liberal Arts will be able to continue his PhD degree. There will be no MPhil degree. MPhil degree will be discontinued. So actually, this whole program will be totally flexible in nature. But of course, this is the idea of liberal of arts and liberal of education introduced by the draft national education policy. But important questions will be there: how we will implement this type of liberal arts in our education system, where most of the institutions are standalone institution. It will be, of course, a great challenge for us. But of course, if certain efforts are made, if our people are becoming aware, if there is a support from the government, then definitely near future we'll be able to introduce Bachelor of liberal arts or liberal education. Already many developed countries of the world have already introduced Bachelor of liberal arts, liberal education, etc. Many countries, even British has introduced here this watertight compartment system of education, has already introduced liberal education in their country. Even our neighboring country, which is not a developed country, so far education and economic is concerned, Bangladesh has already introduced liberal education. So actually, this is the need of hour. This is a need of time to introduce this multidisciplinary concept of education. So thank you all of you. I think I have taken, sir, 2-3 minutes more. Thank you everybody for your patience sharing. Thanks.